So this video is on creating a Gantt chart. I'll be going through the process step by step on how to do that. As a reminder, the Gantt chart is going to be used throughout the year to keep your team on schedule and making sure that the project is completed successfully. On my screen, I already started the table. You should already have this completed. If we've already done two-way tables before, if you have forgotten, go back to the other YouTube videos and see those videos again, or review assignments where you had to do two-way tables and you had to format it. One thing I want to point out, make sure that your file is saved. On here, I have the different task, and actually I named this project. Let me name it task. I have the different task in order for me to complete my water treatment research presentation. The due date for the project is November 1st, so I put that date in there. And these dates, you don't have to have it, but you decide when do you want to start each part. When do you want to start the water treatment? Notice the research for the water treatment cycle, the quality engineering, the quality control process all starts at the same time because different group members can be doing that part. However, the actual presentation to create it, you won't be able to do that until after the research is done. And on here I put down October 26th to be done on October 28th. So you decide when to start on each part, when to end for each part. However, of course, you can't put on there for all of them November 1st because you won't be able to practice or do the presentation if they're not done ahead of time. So days completed, or the number of days, let me change that, number of days to work is how many time or how many days do you have to do each part. Instead of me just doing the math, I can go ahead and do the calculation. So if I do C2 minus B2, it's going to give me the number 2. So it's going to tell me that there's 2 days, and it does. 24, 25, and 26, that's 2 days. If you get a date, make sure that, or you get a weird number, make sure this is under general on the top. So keep that in mind. Once I have that formula, I can actually go to the bottom right-hand corner and drag this all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to center that. So if you notice, does it make sense? Yes, this is 1 day because you're reviewing the rubric. This is 2 days, so it does make sense. The formula is working. Days remaining. That means from today's date, how many days do you have in order to complete each task? Now I want Excel to do this for me. I want it to automatically calculate it for me. So first, over here, we notice this box says today's date. I'm going to put in today's date where it automatically figures out what the current date is. Instead of me re-entering today's date, I want Excel to do it. In order to do that, we put equals today, parenthesis open, parenthesis close, and there it is. Today is October 24th, so it's telling me that it is October 24th. And every time you open this file, it's actually going to change depending on what today's date. So if I open this file tomorrow, it will say October 25th. So my days remaining is going to be how many days I have is going to be whatever my C2, whatever that due date that I gave, minus my B11. So in this case, does it make sense? Yes, I do have 2 days left starting from today. Before I drag this, I'm actually going to go to in front of the B and do Shift 4. It's going to show up as a money sign, and in front of the 11, I'm also going to do Shift 4 with the money sign. The reason why I do that is because I don't want B11 to drag down. I want to use B11 the entire time, and you'll see what I mean. Let me drag this down. And notice what I mean. Over here, it's doing C2 minus C11. When I go here, it's doing C3, B11. I don't want the B11 to go down. Notice how if I go down to the next one, it's going to go to C4, but the red one stays at B11. So the reason why I want to put the money sign, so when I drag it down and it copies the formula, it stays at B11. And notice, it makes sense. Over here, you have 8 days until you need to practice the presentation. So the formulas are working. I'm going to put this here. Pre-completion. So this is where you're going to enter this, because Excel cannot figure out how much of the work have you done. So let's say you did 50% here, 50% of this research, half this research. You haven't started this, you haven't started the rubric, and you haven't started practice presentation. So let me center this. And over here, I'm actually going to calculate the completion. And the way I'm going to do that, it's the sum. And I'm going to add F2 to F7. And I'm going to divide this by how many I have. So 3, 6. Divide this by 6. So you're taking an average of the percent. 25. So you've done 25% of the project. So that's what this percentage is telling you. And notice, let's say I did 100% of this, so my percent should increase, and there it is, 33%. And let me actually change this to, let me change the decimal. So it only gives me, we'll do 1 decimal. And notice if I change this, it's going to change to 41.7. So the more that you update this, the more it's going to be able to tell you how much of the project have you completed. All right, now that we've done that, now it's time to actually add the chart or the actual bar chart. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to the bar chart, and I'm going to click on this one that says Stack Bar, 2D Stack Bar. And let me put it underneath here so I can see it. I'm going to make this wider. All right. And now I'm going to go to Add or Select Data. I'm going to Add, and I'm going to select my start date. That's my series name. My values, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to choose all my start date. And there it is down there. I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to add my days to work. So how many days I have left to work. I'm going to scroll all of that down. I'm going to hit OK. And then let me add days remaining. So days remaining, delete that, and scroll all or highlight all my data for days remaining. And oops. And I'm going to hit OK. And then on my x-axis, I actually want for it to be my task instead of just numbers. Oops. And I was supposed to, let's delete that. And let's highlight all the tasks. And then press OK. So there is my, and hit OK again. So this is my chart right here, but we're going to clean it up a little bit. First thing is we want to change the dates a little bit, the dates how it's ordered. And one way to do that is Excel actually gives a value to all start dates. For instance, notice that this says 10/12 and my first start date is 10/24. So I want it to actually start at 10/24 and not at October 12th. So let's find out if I put 10 or actually 10 24. Notice, so there's my date. However, let me change this to an actual number. And notice it gives me a number of 42,667. That means that Excel, if I were to change October 24, 2016 to a number, this is the number that it gives me. Excel does this to work with dates, and because dates are not actual numbers you can use to calculate, so it gives you this ability to change dates to a number, and you'll see why we'll need it. So if I go to my y-axis and format axis, and notice this minimum. This minimum says 42,655. I'm actually going to change it to 4267. And I'm going to close it. And notice now my chart starts on October 4th, 2016, which is what I wanted. However, one thing I want to do is notice how with the task, I keep having my practice presentations first, and perhaps on yours, you want to put it where the research water treatment goes on the top. So in order to change that, let's go to format axis. And let's go to right here. There's a box that says categories in reverse order. Check that. And now it put it in backwards. And notice that now I have, let me scroll down. Notice that now water treatment cycle to researchers comes first, and then last is practice presentation. So that way my graph actually makes a little sense. And let me scoot this over. Now, I don't really want maybe the part where when my start date is. For instance, these that are unfilled. So let me change that. And over here where it says filled or outline, let's put no outline. And let's put no fill. And it disappears. So the orange is how many days I have. Notice, the orange is how many days I have to do the work. And the gray is, or this entire thing is how many days are there remaining. So over here, I have 2 days to practice a presentation. However, I have 8 total days until I need to complete that. So the orange is how many days you have to do that task. So to review the rubric, I only have 1 day. And I have 5 days from today to complete that task. Now with all charts, I should title it. So let me title this. And I can go to design and I can add a title. So let me add it above, and I'm going to change this to water treatment project schedule. And there you have your Gantt chart, and as you change this, the actual graph will change with it. So let's say you want to change this due date to the 28th. Notice that this first line automatically changed. If you have any questions, let me know. But remember to share this with your group, and you will be doing this with all of your projects. Also, keep in mind that this completion percentage should be updated on a daily basis so I can view it.